Hello, and welcome to Hot Oven Time Machine, the podcast where we dive into the history of baking and try out recipes past and present. My name is Joseph, a master amateur baker.
And I'm Monty, a master baker in training.
How are you today, Monty?
I'm good. Just, 4 days stuck in the house. Pretty much. So, getting by. How are you?
I'm good. It's not as gray as the last recording. It's much brighter out today.
It is. It was great this morning.
Yeah, so it started out kind of blah, but the day's gotten better.
Yeah.
Max Verstappen got pole at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, so that made me happy.
Those words mean nothing to me.
It might mean something to some of our fans, and we'll date when we recorded this episode.
Yeah.
You figure it out. This week, we will be diving into the saccharine sweet school of confections.
Whoa, those are some big words.
I'm afraid I may have used all of my alliteration and literary prowess in that one sentence, so savor it.
The rest is garbage.
I wouldn't say garbage, it's just not quite to that same standard. Some days I win, some days I'll lose.
True.
Much like baking, writing, you have to practice it a lot, and some days you're better than others.
Yeah.
Confections. Candy, sweets, lollies, cakes, buns, pastries. Whatever you might call them, we all have our sweet tooth favorite. Confections are food items that are rich in sugar and carbohydrates. While there are no hard definitions of what can or cannot be a confection, there are two generally accepted categories. Baker's confectionery, which includes sweet pastries, cakes, and other sweet baked goods, and sugar confectionaries, which include candies, candied nuts, chocolates, and other confections made mostly of sugar. Upon doing the research for this episode, I feel like this should have been our first episode topic, seeing as confections is sort of the motherlode of all desserts.
It's a broad category.
It's about as broad as you can get,
Yeah.
It's like in science class, you have the genus or the genus. There's the overall category, and then you have all these subcategories that divide further and further. This is like the mother category of baked sweets.
Yeah.
But we're not going to go back and fix it now, so here we are.
Yeah, I don't know what any of that science means.
I mean, once again, we could do more research, but we're not. Just enough.
We're amateurs.
Just enough research.
It's quite literally amateur hour.
Well, at least we have an amateur in training, so it's not totally amateur hour.
Real.
Mediocre hour. But we're aiming higher.
Yeah.
Back to confections. Traditional confectionery dates back to the beginnings of Western civilization, which, according to some quick research, started in the 13th century before the Common Era. Common Era starting at the year 0. If you hear a cat jingling on a doorknob, I apologize. We're trying something a little different in our recording today. We'll see if it pans out. Think ancient Greece, Turkey, and the Mediterranean when thinking about the beginnings of Western civilization. The first confections were fruits or flowers preserved in honey. Between the 6th and 4th century BCE, or before Common Era, the Persians and soon after the Greeks began trading with the Indian subcontinent to obtain sugarcane, which was then processed into sugar. Sugarcane is native to the Indian subcontinent and Southeast Asia, but soon spread throughout the Mediterranean. So, but before they had the commodity of just, sugar, they just used honey, which is nature sugar.
Yeah.
In the early history of sugar usage in Europe, apothecaries were the main source of sugar-based preparations. Medieval physicians learned medicinal uses for sugar from the Arabs and the Byzantine Greeks. One such use was an early version of cough drops, which at the time were long twisted sticks of pulled sugar called alfanad or alpanad in Arabic.
Interesting.
As more non-medical uses for sugar were developed, the role of confectioner branched away from the apothecary. The first non-medical confections were made from fruits, roots, or flowers preserved in sugar. So again, sort of same thing as from the very beginning, but instead of using honey, more sugar-based.
Yeah.
By the 16th century, confections were more commonly a seed, nut, or small piece of spice enclosed by a round or oval mass of sugar. Fast forward to the modern era, where there is an infinite amount of confections to satisfy your craving for sugar.
Oh, yeah. So many. My brain is still stuck on fruits, roots, or flowers.
I mean, could you imagine, boy, this is where I'm going to really show my ignorance. I don't know a whole lot of roots. A potato encased in sugar. Is a potato a root? A carrot's a root, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Hold on.
So think about a carrot just covered by chocolate.
Ew.
You don't think chocolatey carrots would be good?
No, not at all. Oh, I think I see. Okay, beetroot. Sometimes people use beetroot in baking.
Beets, there we go. 2 more beets, or roots.
Well, potato is a root. Congratulations.
Called it. Sugary potato. Coming to an episode near you.
Okay, so carrot, turnip, radish.
Hey, look at all these roots.
Parsnip, beetroot. And then there's a couple that I'm not really quite positive on the pronunciation, because I've never heard of them.
So there you go. Imagine candied beetroot. Not very satisfying sounding?
I don't necessarily think they mean candied. I think they mean just putting the root in the food.
No, I think it's pretty much you take the root and then encase it in a sugar casing. Which, speaking of enclosing in a sugar casing, that brings us to we had so many things to choose from. We almost kind of backwards engineered this episode. We had a food item we wanted to cook, and then we had to figure out what it fell under.
Yeah.
But today, we're doing a focus on the Washington cream confection, or candy.
Yes.
The candy itself, it still harkens back to that, the center is covered by what did it say, a round or oval mass of sugar. Mm-hmm. This version, the mass of sugar, is chocolate. This recipe is a family recipe that is a modified version of the Martha Washington candy. The candy recipe originated from the Martha Washington Candies Company, a chain candy store that was founded in the 1890s by Eli Sheets, and unfortunately went bust in the 1930s, most likely due to the Great Depression. Eli Sheets soon died afterwards. Before collapsing, the chain had grown to 15 factories and over 200 retail locations. The recipe has endured in Southern family cookbooks due to its usage of pecans, which, as we learned last week, pecans are regional to the South. I'm not sure if you can hear it. One of our cats is whining at the door because he feels excluded from the podcast recording today. We apologize.
So clingy.
The original recipe is a mixture of pecans and coconut dipped in chocolate.
I hate coconut.
But we both hate coconut, and I think a lot of people in our family are not fond of coconut, and that's why we have a modified version.
Well, a lot of our aunts love coconut.
But we had a few in our corner that didn't, so I'll let Monty take it over to describe the recipe for us, our modified Washington cream candy.
Basically, all you really do is just get a box of powdered sugar, stick of butter, and you mix it up. You add a flavoring that you want, and you dip it in chocolate. We technically, in our family, use a cherry fondant recipe. But the way that we do it, the dipping it in the chocolate and not encasing it in cherries, because cherries are disgusting, is closer to a Martha Washington candy.
Yeah, that's a little bit closer to the original. We have strayed very far from the original because I don't like cherry and neither of us like coconut. So this is a heavily modified. So the center of the candy, what would that be classified as? That mixture of sugar and butter?
A fondant.
A fondant? Okay.
Yeah. It's just kind of like, it's not like traditional fondant. It's just something to, kind of encase and sweeten.
Gotcha.
It actually tastes good,
Right.
Compared to fondant.
Better than actual fondant.
Yeah. No, I don't know. It's just something we would make every year. We always have candy making day, the first weekend of December. We would make turtles. Is that what it's called? Turtles? Just turtles?
Oh boy, I'm blanking so hard.
Because, it's like it's the pecan and the caramel, and I think you put it on a pretzel. I have no idea.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
They look like turtles. That's why they're called that.
And then peanut butter balls, or as I found out, that they're sometimes referred to Buckeyes.
Yeah, Buckeyes. Oh gosh, what else do we make? Okay, so sometimes we'll just make caramels. There is a lot of candy dipping that we have to do. I just remember melting chocolate, and one year we cut a ton of wax up. You know, you can eat wax, some wax. This is probably the most simple one that you can do, and you can change it up in so many ways.
Yeah, there's definitely a room for, you can just go totally crazy with it.
Yeah, but if you do add pecans, I would suggest adding a little more fat because it'll dry out the mixture and it'll be too crumbly.
Gotcha.
My particular favorite is the orange flavor or strawberry. Those are really good.
Both of which we have here to sample today.
We do. Oh my god, he sounds so sad. Who is it, Jeff?
Jeff.
I feel like we could let Jeff in.
Alright, we're letting Jeff into the war zone. Come on, bud.
You're not alone.
Oh, don't step on the laptop. Nope, not the laptop.
You wanna come snuggle with your auntie? Come snuggle with your auntie. No, I guess he just wanted to be in the room with us.
He just wanted to be in here. Alright, well, here's hoping he doesn't knock a microphone over or anything. Though he's done pretty good so far.
Yeah.
So the two flavors we have today of our modified recipe are orange and strawberry.
Mm-hmm.
We'll go ahead and I'm gonna taste. Why don't you taste the orange first, and I'll taste the strawberry first.
Okay. You want to try and get that snap?
Yeah, I'll try to get the snap. You can see from how I split the orange one that it didn't quite snap as easily straight out of the fridge. But maybe now that it's set at room temperature a little bit more.
Yeah, I would not recommend keeping these in the fridge more than like.
Oh, well, that was very unsatisfying.
Well, the chocolate did soften a little.
It softened quite a bit, but...
They do get pretty hard if you keep them in the fridge too long.
Mm.
Oh yeah, that's orange.
Well, this strawberry is really good.
I know it's weird, but the only way I'll eat orange flavored things if it's paired with chocolate. I, like my mother, do not enjoy orange, but it's really good with chocolate. One of those really good pairings that I just really enjoy.
I mean, it's simple, straightforward. It's edible fondant, flavored like strawberry, covered in chocolate. It's hard to go wrong.
Yeah, and you can do them any shape you want. You can roll them out, cookie cut them, roll them into balls, make rectangles. You might want to do two different shapes, or different shapes with each flavor that you do so you can distinguish them, because once they get dipped, you don't know.
Yeah, we did discs for all of them, and if we hadn't used separate trays, you know, after the baking or the dipping, we would have no idea what flavor they were.
Yeah.
I would also suggest maybe balling them. We did run into, as we went on with our disc shapes, as they set out longer and before we dipped them, they didn't last quite as long once you dip it in the hot chocolate, and they started to deform pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But, I mean, overall, they held up pretty well.
Yeah, they did.
I prefer the ball shape, too, because, you know, it's just a nice pop it in your mouth. You don't have to hold on to it, you know, just a quick...
I prefer a rectangle.
Huh, interesting.
I feel like with doing it in a ball shape, you either have to do it in 2 bites or 1 bite, and both are kind of big.
Yeah, I guess if you're going to make it ball shaped, you want to try to make it small enough for a one shot, but then you don't want to make it too small because then it's unsatisfying.
But also you don't want to, okay, like when we do candy making day, the reason we do rectangles is because the peanut butter balls are round.
And then the other candies you make.
Yes, you don't want to pop one in and be like, oh, that's peanut butter.
Well, we used extracts for these. I mean, obviously not as realistic as an actual strawberry, but it's pretty close. It's not bad for an extract.
It's really close. I feel like if you really do want to get that true strawberry flavor, use actual strawberries or higher grade extract. Nothing quite tastes like strawberries unless it's actual strawberries.
True. All right, I'm going to go in for the orange here.
Let me tell you, candy making day, it's very calculated. I haven't been to one in a few years. Ooh. It's orange, huh?
Ooh.
That was my bad. I did not measure. I just poured and accidentally poured way too much.
See, I also just poured, but I was a little bit more conservative with my pouring.
I thought there was a little less in the bottle than there was, so then I dumped too quickly.
That tastes like orange.
Yeah.
It almost tastes like an orange crush soda. That's intense.
I really missed the chaos of candy making day. Did you ever go to one?
I don't think so. We did candy making day at Mom and Dad's a couple of times, like just us.
Yeah, that's not nearly as chaotic.
I don't think I ever did a candy making day with further extended family.
We always had Aunt Kim, Aunt Kathy, Aunt Connie. Nana would be there, but she would just kind of hang out with us. And then we would always have Lindsay, and then Melissa and Adrian. That's 7 people. And then me and Christian would go along. So that's pretty much 9 people in one kitchen.
See, I probably missed out on this because Dad took me hunting or fishing.
Yeah.
Which was also fun, but yeah, it's probably why I never went to one of these candy making days.
Yeah, and we would make candy for like everyone in the family, so we would have just candy everywhere.
I do remember coming back to see the aftermath and seeing the glorious mounds of candy. That
was
always
insane,
great.
But I love it. And I think that's really where I was like, okay, I want to bake for the rest of my life. It really is just family that made me want to bake. How sweet.
No, I'm just kidding.
Rude.
Now we come to our review. I don't remember who went first last week. I feel like I did. So what do you rate this out of 10?
I mean 10.
Well, all right.
You can't go wrong with these. Unless you like somehow used spoiled butter or something.
Oh, this is tough. I'm gonna give it a 9.5.
Ooh, what's that 0.5 there for, bud?
The orange was pretty intense. And now this is partially on me. Some of them didn't quite come out looking beautiful. That was on my dipping technique. Though I guess I shouldn't subtract that against your recipe.
Yeah, that's on you, bud.
I'll give it a 9.75.
Okay.
It was really close. It's just the orange was very orange.
Yeah, but I kind of like that.
I mean, you don't want it to be too subtle, but this is like punching you in the mouth. Woo! So orange.
No, I like that.
Oh, I'm getting like a Tootsie Roll kind of flavor from that almost.
Tootsie Roll?
Yeah.
Tootsie Roll's just chocolate, though.
Yeah, but maybe they have some orange flavoring in there. Something about that bite I just took. I mean, it's been a minute since I've eaten a Tootsie Roll. It almost tasted like a Tootsie Roll.
I'm gonna press doubt.
You know what? I'm gonna look up.
I 100% guarantee you they do not use orange flavoring in original Tootsie Rolls. I haven't had one since I was a kid, but I can guarantee. Ooh, eating all that orange, though, it does make you sweat a little.
Tootsie Roll offers a perfectly balanced cocoa taste lined with a subtle, fruit-flavored undertone.
But it doesn't specify what fruit.
It doesn't specify what fruit, but I am going to stake a claim that fruit is orange.
No.
I could swear that bite tasted just like a Tootsie Roll.
No, not an orange. And if I'm wrong, I will never admit it.
Well, we'll do further research, and we'll do some follow-up at the beginning of next episode to see who's right and who's wrong.
I'm right. You're wrong.
We may have to actually buy some Tootsie Rolls.
Oh man, would I even be able to eat those with braces? I think so, right?
Oh, this is a perfect opportunity. I can eat it and then just say.
No!
We'll get a third party involved. They can arbitrate and give a fair, balanced call. Alright, well that's our episode for today.
That went pretty fast.
Yeah, it was a fast one today. Maybe it's because it's a little warm in this room, and I'm just trying to not hurry it up, because I want to give our listeners a good experience here. But also, it's getting very warm in this room.
Yeah, and there wasn't a lot to like this specific confectionery.
Yeah, when I was doing the research, there wasn't like a whole lot. Like it was very bare bones on like the origin story of the recipe.
Yeah.
It was just from some old store that went out of business, but everyone kept making it because it was, a nice, easy, fun candy.
Yeah, I don't know why, but the name, what was it, Ellis or Elliot?
Eli Sheets.
Eli Sheets. That made me laugh.
See, and I feel like I was trying to look up, because I think there's like a gas station convenience store called Sheets in like the Northeast. And I was trying to see if Eli Sheets was connected to that in any way, but I couldn't find anything.
Oh, bummer.
But that's our episode for today. Thanks for listening. If you wouldn't mind doing us the favor of rating us in whatever pod player that you listen to, we'd greatly appreciate it. If you feel like giving us your financial support, you can head on over to patreon.com/hotoventimemachine. We have a few different perk levels, and we're working on building in some more perks. I understand if you can't financially support us at this time, just if you enjoyed it, share it with your friends and family who you think would enjoy listening to two people talk about baking and the history of baking and shooting some jokes along the way.
Yep. Horrible jokes.
Horrible, horrible, horrible jokes.
Do you want to give a sexy little tease for next week?
Oh, a sexy little tease for next week?
Yeah.
Well, to do that, I'm going to have to...
I already know what it is.
Okay, well, why don't you give us a little tease for next week then?
Okay, so just imagine. No. We're going to do pretzels.
Ooh, pretzels. I've never baked a pretzel before.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to like our German roots, which I don't think we have at all.
Well, with the last name Brown, there's gotta be in there somewhere.
Yeah. We're definitely more from like England, Ireland, Scotland.
I was gonna try an accent, but I don't have the confidence, so I'm just gonna leave it there.
The only thing I could do is it snuggly, baby? Which is a very specific reference in our family.
Well, we'll see you next time, or we'll dive into the history of pretzels and see how hard it is to bake one, boil one, fry one.
I won't give anything away.
You'll have to tune in next time to find out.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.